The retro gaming scene is definitely an interesting scene to get into in any way, shape or form, mainly because a mass majority of things, especially when it comes from anything from the PlayStation 2, GameCube and Xbox generations and older, they tend to be pretty expensive. Anything to do with the 3DS right now as it gets ready to be discontinued, by the way, pay attention, I'll have a video talking about stuff to do with that in a few days. And so naturally, of course, there's going to be a lot of retail companies that come up and exist solely for the sheer fact of, well, buying your consoles and old games, old video game collection, like all your retro stuff off of you for stupidly cheap and reselling it at massively marked up prices. This is pretty common to say the least. You can probably find multiple different retail stores that do this. Some of them are far more fair with their prices than others. Some try to be a bit more in line of what is averagely those items get sold for on places like eBay or Amazon or wherever the hell people try to sell these things from. But then you've also got places like DKOldies, which tend to charge an exorbitant premium, in some cases almost doubling the normal price of said items. I mean, probably one of my favorite things was seeing that a 3DS that would be imported from America, because, you know, DKOldies will send stuff to people in Australia, to Canada, to the UK. If you spend X amount of money, I forget precisely the numbers, I'll probably have it on screen for the response that I'm thinking about here, you get 70% off of the actual international shipping. So in theory, they're offering it to international customers because they're trying to give you cheaper shipping if you buy a certain amount of products from them. But at the same time, a new 3DS XL, because they haven't had any in stock for a while, doesn't actually have the forever going sale price going on it. Instead, it's just got a stock standard price of over 500 Australian dollars, which is wow. Like, just for a bit of an example, the average new 3DS XL is probably selling for about $300 to $350. The more special editions you might be out, you will probably find for $450 buccarinos. It's around that marketplace there. But DKOldies, you want just stock standard black one, $500 dues. But hey, their biggest selling point, the reason why they want to charge these extra premiums, is they claim that they're all refurbished. And if you don't know what refurbishing means, it basically just means the very subtle art of pulling apart the console, cleaning it up, maybe putting some new thermal paste on the CPU sockets and all the other bits and pieces and all the chips to make it so that the cooling has better contact, because usually after about a decade or two, the thermal paste that does hold the cooling elements to the chips in these consoles does tend to wear away, especially on stuff like a PlayStation 3 or Xbox 360, anything more newer that's more of a concern. And then just beyond that, cleaning it out, because I mean, let's say just it's a console that used to live in a house that, well, those people smoked, whether it be they vaped, whether they did weed, whether they did whatever the heckums they do, causes a bit more of a dusty mess inside of the console. It's a little bit more annoying to clean and does cause some potential issues. And so usually when you're in the market of refurbished things, you expect these things to be refurbished. That's where the scam comes into play here, because while DKOldies claims to refurbish things, especially in a video they released not that long ago, there's countless videos out there that you can find from multiple YouTubers with multiple consoles that were claimed to have been refurbished, but then when they open them up, it's effectively a desert, or it's pretty bad, they're not cleaned in any way, shape, or form. And even the way they show they refurbish things is they use a magic eraser. That should be a last resort, especially on glossy objects, because that will scratch the ever-living hell out of those glossy objects. I think the thing just levels up entirely just because of the fact that their response to YouTubers having a continuous problem with their consoles not being refurbished is oh yep, they're just we're human, we make mistakes. But then they removed that comment, they backtracked on that. Now it's just more that, oh no, the people who are making content are talking about us in a negative light. No, they're just hating on us. We never would do that to you guys. No, trust us. We got the best of your intentions in heart. We totally wouldn't be doing this type of thing. We totally wouldn't be lying out of our teeth about this. I think the funniest part is that they claim that if you open up these consoles, you're voiding the warranty on them, but if anyone actually chose to take this to court, those things to court, they don't really hold up anywhere near as well. Like, you all know the infamous stickers that they would put on, that companies used to put on products very commonly, and basically said, if this sticker is broken, this voids the warranty. Don't break the sticker if you don't want to void the warranty. That was something that was most likely likely very difficult to hold up in any form of legal sense, but no one really contested it because, well, that just costs you a lot of money and any form of legal fees, so kind of not the greatest move there. Now, whilst most companies have stopped doing this, DKOldies seems to have a very fancy practice of doing so. Even on the console they don't even refurbish, they still slap the stickers right on top of the screws, the void warranty if broken stickers, and then when people have tried to get their console sent back in or get something returned, like get warranty because the console wasn't even goddamn refurbished in the first place, they go, oh, but you opened up the console, you found out that it wasn't refurbished by opening up the console, therefore you're voiding the warranty, which is just, what's a word for it? Oh yeah, dumb. If I'm completely honest, the exorbitantly overpricedness that does come from DKOldies isn't the worst part of it all. If it wasn't for the fact that they inherently lie with a lot of their marketing and do a lot of sketchy things. I mean, for example, how a lot of their items on the store are perpetually on sale. Legitimately, permanently for most examples. You can look at the website every single day, the time will still be roughly the same as what it was when you last looked at. The sale will still be roughly the same, and they'll just continue repeating that till the end of time. Hopefully, I will get a screenshot that I took or get a screenshot from a video I made like a month ago, and then compare it to now and show you that it's probably still the same specials, to be completely honest. I wouldn't be surprised at this point. DKOldies don't want to really accept that they're doing things a little bit incorrectly when it comes to the retro gaming business, and then furthermore upon that, they just try to hide comments or delete comments, remove things that goes against what they're trying to say here, especially if it's like bringing up the fact that multiple YouTubers have pointed out their sketchy practices and things along those lines. A little bit of a side thing that I don't care about as particularly much is like the whole controller thing. When you do buy any of these consoles, whether it be the player packs or whether it just be other things along those lines, they tend to have this little tiny drop box that says, oh, do you want an original controller or do you want just a basic random controller they decide to throw in? You have to pay an extra 60, 30, like an extra price on top of the normal price in order to get the original controller for the console. These type of things you kind of want to let the customer know very painstakingly well that they don't have the original consoles with these by default, especially when it comes to things like the PlayStation 3 that has backwards compatibility with the PlayStation 2, because third-party controllers do not function for the backwards compatibility of the PlayStation 2 features. It straight up don't work. It's literally just a weird thing. I don't know why Sony did that, but Sony makes some very weird decisions with the PlayStation 3, and of course this is one of them. DKOldies, if they knew enough as a company about retro gaming, would probably have a rough understanding that that's a thing, especially now that it's been brought up multiple times, and would probably give a big warning to customers that, hey, this purchase does not come with the original controller. And for, let's say, something like a backwards compatible PlayStation 3, it just points out the third-party controller that comes with this by default will not function with PlayStation 2 compatibility. You may want to get an actual controller for an extra price premium of $60. I don't know. It's just an interesting thing to look at when it comes down to it. Just the entire shenanigans to do with DKOldies and how they've gotten themselves in this mess in the first place. Because if I'm completely honest, as I stated earlier, their prices, whilst very exorbitantly expensive, if they are truly refurbishing consoles and stuff like that, I can understand why you would reasonably want to pay a bit of a premium on that, because someone's taken the effort to pull apart the console, clean it up, potentially replace things that need to be replaced, get some new thermal paste in there, other things along those lines without the effort of you. It makes sense why they might have a little bit of premium compared to the rest of the market. Not quite double the money in some cases, but if you pay for that, it's not my business. You want to pay for that, you do that, my friends. Anyway, if you enjoy this video, this is slightly different to my channel of normally Minecraft content, but this might be a permanent change for those who are paying attention. So leave a like and subscribe. It's pretty useful. I'm probably going to lose a lot of subscribers off of this, but see you in the next one. Boy!